Hello everyone, my name is Jim Jeffers and I am your child's teacher for mixed choir or polyphonic choir. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. This is my 20th year teaching at Fairport High School. I have a bachelor's degree in vocal performance from SUNY Fredonia, and from Fredonia I went on to SUNY Buffalo where I did a PhD in music theory. I taught music theory at SUNY Buffalo for a few years before coming here to Fairport, and that's where I've been ever since. In addition to teaching in Fairport, I'm also active in NISMA as an adjudicator of both soloists and of choirs. I sing with a professional chamber choir called Madrigalia in Rochester, and I love doing all of it. I just love singing, I love working with choirs, I love working with kids and making music with kids, and it's been 20 years of real joy doing exactly that. Because of COVID and our precautions that we're taking, things are looking a little bit different in choir this year than they typically have, so I want to just talk to you about some of the safety things that we're doing. We will be singing as we normally would, except students have to be 12 feet apart and wearing masks when singing. The reason for that is when we breathe deeply and sing, there are more particles that go out into the air, and so the extra spacing of being 12 feet apart is a precaution that we take, and we still wear our masks just to keep people safe and to stop the spread of the disease. So that makes things a lot different for the students' experience. Instead of being kind of packed right next to each other where they can hear each other really clearly, they're spread out and they're having to be more independent as they're working on their music. It's more of a challenge for them to hear each other. It's more of a challenge for me to hear them, but we are working that out. Another thing we're doing as a precaution is we cut off our singing at 30 minutes out of our 40-minute period. So we typically have a few minutes at the beginning of the period for announcements and such, or maybe some, just kind of some verbal instruction from me that doesn't involve everyone singing. We sing for 30 minutes and then we kind of recap things for the last few minutes of the period. That 30 minutes comes from a study on aerosols with singing that shows that if you go for more than 30 minutes, the air starts to get more saturated than you would want for it to be. Normally at this point in my parent night presentation, I would be talking about concert dates and concert attire. What does my kid need to wear to concerts? When are our concerts? But concerts are going to look a lot different this year, and we're still kind of developing what that's going to be. What we know is that we're going to find ways to share our performances with parents and with the community. But it's not going to take the typical form of, crowding kids onto risers to sing in front of a full auditorium. Rather, it will take other types of forms. One thing that we're going to be starting to work on soon is putting together virtual performances of our pieces. So students will record their parts individually, and then they'll be put together using sound software that I will use to put together either audio presentations or video presentations. Students are bringing their own ideas to this concept as well. I've already had some students suggest maybe we could do like a music video that isn't a video of us singing, but rather, footage that kind of goes along with the music. And so we're open to all of those kinds of possibilities. Outdoor concerts are maybe a possibility. That's challenging with our climate, but at some time this year we may end up being able to do an outdoor concert, so stay tuned for that possibility. And we may look at other kinds of online presentations of our performances as well. Something that's important to know about how our day-to-day work runs is that I'm running the choirs with as synchronous classes, and what that means is that when students are at home, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and it's their day to be at home, or Wednesday that has a slightly different schedule, they should be joining class through Google Meet every single day. So that means that I'm simultaneously teaching students who are in person as well as students who are online through Google Meet. And we've been working to tweak the sound to make sure that the sound is as good as it can be for those students at home, so it's good enough so that they can have a really effective rehearsal. We're going to keep working with that. This way of doing things is brand new to all of us. My word of the year is flexibility. We're going to be flexible with each other. We're going to be gracious towards each other as we try things and they work or don't work. And I've asked students to please communicate with me about anything that is working, that is not working, particularly anything on that other end of the Google Meet. You know, are you having trouble hearing well? Are you having a signal that's cutting out? I need to know those things, and in order to know them, I need for them to tell me that. So we have open lines of communications as we figure out how this synchronous thing works. For grades for this course, basically they're graded based on participation, and it will also be participation in the concert replacement projects, such as the virtual choir performances and those kinds of things. Those recordings will have due dates, and they'll have to be on time to get full credit. We have a voice lesson program that is open to all of our choir students. Lessons will run either in person in very small groups where we will still sing with 12-foot spacing. And those in-person lessons would run during lunches, so students are not pulled from regular academic classes for voice lessons. And it would be like half of a lunch for once a week for the lessons. I'm also going to be doing virtual lessons, both for our all virtual students or for students who are in our hybrid model, one of those cohorts, but it just works out better either for my schedule or for their schedule to do the lessons virtually rather than in person. And the lessons are an opportunity to work on solo singing as well as do individual work that complements the work that we're doing in choir. I encourage you to contact me via email if you ever have any questions. I'm happy to answer questions. And I'm going to play you out here for my presentation with a few seconds of a virtual choir that we put together last spring.